Hello again, everybody. I'm Ken Boxer. This is Ken Boxer Live. It's hard to believe it's been over 9 years since I last had a show here in Santa Barbara. And this new show, Ken Boxer Live, this is the first show that we're doing. And, you know, it was very easy for me to think of who my first guest will be this half hour. You know him on radio for the last 50 some odd years. We'll figure out exactly how many. I've forgotten now. But I remember I still wake up to him in the morning. Whoops.
Hello.
Hello.
Room service.
But I got to tell you, our guest is is an icon in Santa Barbara radio personality, the Baron Ron Herron. Baron, welcome.
He here? Hello.
You know, I seriously, I welcome. You would be the first guest. We had you on, you know, so many times with Around the Town Live.
I know, you did
and
many times.
You were very kind enough back then to come and grace our stage then, and now you're here joining us for the first inaugural show.
All the movers and shakers in town you could have had, and you picked me, your old buddy.
It was very easy to do.
We worked together for a while. You were an intern and did the overnights and helped Dick Williams gather the news, covered a fire with us. Well, we go back.
We go back, and I loved working with you then. And I remember you and I working at KIST.
Right.
I was doing news.
1340.
And I got my start there.
Right.
And you were an icon then.
And don't you ever forget it.
Well, I remember, I'm not, and that's why you're here. I remember your being on KACY, KC Boss of the Beach.
Yeah, the late 60s.
Caffey
in Bakersfield. You don't remember me there, but I was over in Bakersfield for a couple of one-year shots that are forgettable at best.
And you were KUDU, KBBY.
Oh my God.
But you were under a different moniker of KBBY, right?
KBBQ, that was a country station. That's where I learned to like the manure-kicking music, and I used the name Mason Dixon, boy. Mason in the morning.
And nobody knew?
Few people knew. I got some darn good ratings. I had people come down to meet Mason, and they'd see this beard and go, oh my God, Margaret. Those are fun years. I want to tell different stories for your help here this week.
I remember, the earliest recollection I have of you is hearing you on KACY, Boss of the Beach.
Do you go back that far? You don't age, Ken.
Oh,
you look the same young guy. I hate you for that. And yet we're both aging the same.
Well, first off, you know, how many years have you been in radio?
I started in 63. Do the math. That's the big 50.
So I was right.
You were right. I didn't realize that until you said it. And I stopped and thought, I was 16. I was in high school. I'm 67 now.
Okay.
And I got a job on radio doing the night beat show over at Kong in Visalia, where I graduated high school and edited the school paper. And overnight, I was transformed from that fat kid in the back of the room to that fat kid with a radio show. It didn't do anything for my love life at all.
But you were making money.
I was
probably
making
the
money.
Youngest kid in the high school making money, right?
I had to get my parents' permission to work till midnight. Started at 8, get home in time for like a 6-hour nap. And that started the whole thing.
But
63.
Did you have the golden voice back then?
No. Well, actually I did, because I'd been playing disc jockey for years in my bedroom with my friends. His record player here, mine over here, and he had all the records, and I'd buy a few, and we'd pretend to be DJs. That was up in the Northwest.
So if we had tape, which we don't have, I can't surprise you with it, but if we had tape of your being 16 doing radio versus today, would there be much of a difference? Did you work on that voice, or was it just you had it from the get-go?
I learned that I have to have a radio hat on. You don't say bitchin' or damn or certain F words, you know, or 4-letter words. I wouldn't say those, but I'd say words that they'd say, oh, no, you're not supposed to say that. You can say them today, you know. But back then, I had some fun. I'd take a few calls, and the boss would stand back and sort of leave me alone. But after 2.5 years, I got another job and got out of there and started making some money. I wasn't the kid anymore.
Yeah.
I became a professional.
Yeah,
and ended up down here.
Who would have known that 50-year span? And you know, most people would think, you know, 50 years ago that, and you told me before we went on the air how difficult it is now to be on radio, in the sense that there's just no DJs anymore. It's all gone to gone to what, tape or
computers. The internet has nailed us many ways. Number one, they have what's called voice tracking. Person comes in an hour, he voices a whole 4-hour show, leaves, and the computer plays it back in between the cuts. The only thing they can't train the computer to do is tell jokes and do the traffic in the morning. So that's when you need a morning guy, and I'm working. I got that nailed over at AM 1290 for the news press. And then the afternoon drive home, the rest of the day. Remember at KIST, we had 5 or 6 daytime. There was the all-night show. You did the 12, night train.
I did the 12 to 6, and I got to tell you this story that I have to tell my audience. The Baron is, we were at KIST Radio. I'm going to stare right into the camera. KIST Radio was on State Street in the old still the Balboa
building. Yeah.
The Baron would come in. I did a 12 midnight to 6 show on radio, and the Baron would come in. He had a 6 o'clock show, and he came in at 5:58, rolling in every day at 5:58, and you made me stack the 45s. That's how long ago we were using 45s. Yeah. In the particular order, and you got angry, not at me.
Oh, I
You didn't
hope
get angry at me.
Okay.
But you got angry if I would have put the labels, stacked them incorrectly.
Well,
you remember that?
Yeah, but at least you didn't have peanut shells all over like the other guy later on. I made him stand at attention. He said that too, but I can't believe I came down on you that hard. It's hard to do a show.
You didn't come down on me. It's just that I remembered that.
That's what he remembers, the negative.
But you learn you learn, and that's it gave me structure, an organization. But we're going to go to a break. But when we come out, there are people that are probably wondering, how in the hell did you get the name
The Baron?
Oh, and we're going to find out right after this.
We got some stories
stay with
tell.
us. We're with the Baron
Ken
Ron
Boxer.
Herron on Ken Boxer Live, our first show. Stay with us. Don't you dare go away.
Located minutes from the beaches and nestled under palm trees, there is a place for the community to come together to connect, collaborate, and create media. A center for content creators, providing access to media technology to tell stories, share ideas, and create television shows, independent films, and documentaries. TV Santa Barbara welcomes everyone, regardless of your level of experience. We provide extensive, hands-on training in media technology and communication. Select from courses designed to help you create your own video programming or learn how to connect with more people through social media. TV Santa Barbara's Community Media Center is your hub for learning and using media to connect and communicate. We are pushing the envelope in local community programming on TVSB voice and culture. Whether you want to produce your own television show, be on camera or behind the camera, direct a live show, or learn how to edit, there's an opportunity for you to get involved. Our professional staff will help you learn how to use our equipment, production studios, and media lab. It has never been easier. Call, email, or stop by our media center today to find out how you can become a part of TV Santa Barbara. TVSB, where no experience is necessary, but creativity is always welcome.
And welcome back. You're watching Ken Boxer Live, and it's our first show. And right before this little break, I was saying we're talking with Baron Ron Herron, the radio personality that has been on radio that we just learned for 50 years. Baron, where the hell or how the hell did you get the name Baron? I've always wondered. Tell us.
They fired me in Bakersfield after a year because I couldn't say the big 55 good enough. They offered me the job back a month later because they didn't have anybody to do the production I could do. But nevertheless, I'd relocated here, sat down at the microphone at Casey, and we suddenly had competition in town. One of the other stations in the community could do, as a matter of fact, had gone against us, rock and roll. And we had competition. In fact, they hired the morning man away, and I took his place. He told me he went into the Navy. Nevertheless, I'm sitting there having fun doing my show, and the boss comes in and says, "Herron, pick a name." I said, "What?" He said, "You need a nickname, a handle, something we can run with." And I said, I'm just Ron Herron from Bakersfield or Visalia. He said, "Well, come up with something. We got to run with this. Is life or death here." And he went in the other room, his office, and I sat there. And I'm playing records, and I reached over and grabbed the Royal Guardsman, Snoopy versus the Red Baron, which everybody's heard, and they put it on the turntable, playing it after the turn of the century, the bloody Red Baron. It's based on the Snoopy cartoon,
Right,
Peanuts. And I got to thinking, Herron. Baron Herron. If you trill the R in my first name, it almost sounds like royalty. Baron von Herron. I went running into his office. I said, Baron. He said, what? I said, I'm going to be the Baron. He looked at me and said, he's a bad guy. And I said, so? People like bad guys?
Right.
Okay, if that's what you want to do. He went out and bought me a $100 jumpsuit, a spotted scarf, leather helmet with the goggles, and started booking me at supermarket grand openings. And I remember I had to put the whole thing together. I got called to Germany to be crowned the Baron on a radio thing with a heavy echo, you know. Come forward, the great Kaiser has every intention of knighting you, Mr. Herron, as a Baron. And we had contests where Snoopy's flying his little plane, you know, his doghouse versus the Baron.
Now, I can remember as a kid that, I know whenever I say as a kid listening to you, you're wincing here. What am I going to say?
We're still
but
kids.
I remember the KISS list. There was the top 40 list.
Yep.
And there was pictures of the DJs on the other side.
That's mine.
Of the flip side of this paper.
Yep.
And you would
There I
be
was.
in the, you know, the gear.
Not everybody would climb close to me. They'd stand about 20 feet away, but they were there. And we beat them after 4 years. And it was over, and they handed me a broom one day and said, clean up the hall. And I threw it down and said, screw it, I'm not going to clean up your hall. And I called up here. And I've been beating them up here for years. And they had a chance to book the Baron at KISS. Showed up at the boss's office, Mr. Wardlaw.
Right.
You know what he had up on his shelf? Big books about Baron von Richthofen. He was a Baron fanatic. Boy, was that a marriage made in it, wherever.
And you were there for how long?
Oh, God, since
Years
the late
and years
80s,
and-
yeah.
yeah,
Went through
yeah.
different incarnations.
And that's how we met.
Yeah,
through
during
that.
that time.
But I remember also, although too young to actually go,
Too young.
I remember, I've been told, that you used to be the MC for almost every show here in Santa Barbara. I mean, from Earl Warren Showgrounds used to be the venue where it would be, I remember my brother and sister, a little bit older than I, they would go to these shows, they would pay $2 in advance or $2.50
Or
out
3
the
or
door.
4, yeah, to get in.
And you would see, tell us who some of the legends of rock and roll.
Down in Casey and Oxnard, I did the commercials for them, for Jim Salzer, who's still there with his Music Emporium alongside the freeway. And he'd book the Earl Warren. He was kind of like the Bill Graham, excuse me, the Fillmore. Remember the Fillmore was in San Francisco? And these groups are going between LA and San Francisco. Anyway, they'd stop here on a night off and make a few $100,000. And I got to sit backstage with them. I'd also have to phone in the radio station. Hey, we're up here tonight for Janis. Janis Joplin's got a bottle of Southern Comfort in her hand. I'm talking to her. I met them all. You name it. The Buffalo Springfield, Jefferson Airplane, Moby Grape, Jimi Hendrix, the Doors. They were all in the back.
Who stands out the most that you could remember?
Hendrix was one of the nicest.
Really?
I worked with him a couple times.
What made him the nicest?
He was just easy to talk to and friendly, and didn't look like he was on drugs. One of the worst, I hate to say, was a group called Love. I don't know if you remember them.
I remember My Little Red Book.
Yeah, okay. They were there, and they were
In
freaks.
fact, is a little trivia question.
Okay.
Wasn't it our friend Johnny Fairchild who founded the band Love and the Music Machine? Those two were his.
I don't know. It might have, maybe the Music Machine. Strawberry Alarm Clock was his.
Was one of he found.
Yeah, they were local, and I don't think I ever worked with them. But all the biggies stopped here, and I got to know them. 3 times I worked with the Buffalo Springfield.
Which reminds me.
Oh, we got another story, don't
I've got
we?
another story. I mean,
Okay.
I've got you to tell another story. Every time that you've been on the show, going back to the Around the Town live show with me, and we're talking years and years ago,
Right.
I always have you telling us about this particular event that happened with the Buffalo Springfield. And since we're
my
here on
quest.
television,
I-
why don't you tell?
You never know.
You never know.
Some
Tell
woman
people what
might
it
call
is.
and say, I'm the one. The first time I worked with the Buffalo Springfield, which is one of those super groups that went on to spawn Crosby, Stills and Nash and Neil Young and all these other groups. Here they are, cowboy hats, fringe jackets, and they wanted to see the inside of the Earl Warren. They hadn't let the people in yet. It was empty. And so I took them from the dressing room inside and showing them the concession stand down the hall there. If you need to run the bathrooms down there, and there's a phone over here and a water fountain. They left the doors open. And the kids came flooding in. I say kids because it was mostly young people. And we were trying to make our way along the wall to get back to the dressing room. The Buffalo Springfield and I, Stephen Stills, Neil Young, Richie Furay, Dewey Martin. And I'm a 20-year-old kid from Oxnard. And the woman stepped out of the crowd with a little 8mm camera. That's what we had back then, with 2 lights on it. I remember it had 2 lights. And suddenly we're bathed in light, and she's taking a film, and I go, "Hey, how you doing, Mom? Here I am with the Buffalo Springfield." And they picked up on it and shoved me out of the way, each one of them, and we became a pushing, shoving match, and they finally buried me in fringe jackets and guitar cases. All you could see was my arms standing out. And then she stepped away.
Priceless.
And if I could find that woman, I just sort of shined it on, but I've been looking for years to get a copy of that tape. I'd play almost anything for it.
And you can look YouTube. Maybe it's on YouTube.
Oh my God, hadn't thought of that.
Maybe.
Barron meets the Springfield.
Yeah, well look.
Yes, we got to take another break?
Yes, we got to take another break, but I want to, that person who has that piece of footage.
Please call us here at
Call
PSTV,
at TVSB,
TVSB.
or at KZBN Radio.
KZBN AM 1290.
Okay, we're going to go to this break. We'll be right back.
All right.
Located minutes from the beaches and nestled under palm trees, there is a place for the community to come together to connect, collaborate, and create media. A center for content creators, providing access to media technology to tell stories, share ideas, and create television shows, independent films, and documentaries. TV Santa Barbara welcomes everyone, regardless of your level of experience. We provide extensive, hands-on training in media technology and communication. Select from courses designed to help you create your own video programming or learn how to connect with more people through social media. TV Santa Barbara's Community Media Center is your hub for learning and using media to connect and communicate. We are pushing the envelope in local community programming on TVSB voice and culture. Whether you want to produce your own television show, be on camera or behind the camera, direct a live show, or learn how to edit, there is an opportunity for you to get involved. Our professional staff will help you learn how to use our equipment, production studios, and media lab. It has never been easier. Call, email, or stop by our media center today to find out how you can become a part of TV Santa Barbara. TVSB, where no experience is necessary, but creativity is always welcome.
Hi, you're watching Ken Boxer Live, and our guest this half hour, if you've just joined us, is the legendary icon in Santa Barbara, Baron Ron Herron, who I'm so happy to have here. We were just talking before the break about that videotape that of you with those. Not video, it's 8mm.
Back then it was 8mm. They didn't know
8mm.
what tape was. Yeah, it was long before video cameras.
And people who just tuned in, you were talking about how you were emceeing the master of ceremonies to so many acts.
I'd bring them on stage.
But Jimi Hendrix, The Doors.
You name it. First funny little cigarette I ever held was handed to me by Jim Morrison. Now that was at La Playa Stadium. They had him on stage and they were in a tent in the back.
What was that like?
That was weird because they were a weird group. They were friendly. The 3 of them with their women sitting in a circle in chairs, and Jim Morrison said, "Here."
Just to you.
Well, I ducked my head in. I wanted to meet him. I was going to bring him on stage. He didn't do anything really crazy, but he was weird, Jim Morrison. So I could tell you about all those people.
But when I
worked with them all.
And Janis Joplin, what was she like?
Boozing, loud, crazy, fun. And Dylan never came to town.
Yeah, but did you ever think that you were seeing, at that time, were they legendary, these performers, or was in their death they became legends?
I guess it was bigger later. At the time we were just having fun, and that was the latest pop music. The Jefferson Airplane were put on freaks. I remember I sat with them and I said to Grace Slick, "Are you guys going to do White Rabbit? I'm getting a lot of requests for that." And she looked at Marty Ballin, the lead singer, and says, "I don't know, you think we ought to do that?" And he says, "Really? It's getting, okay, we better add it." Of course they were going to do it. It's their main song. But they like to put people on. So
I see.
I ran in. I was kind of crazy. I argued pro-Vietnam War against Country Joe and the Fish with Country Joe himself, Country Joe McDonald.
I remember. Woodstock. He was in Woodstock.
I got to say, speaking of Vietnam War and then later on the Reagan years, thank you for getting me on the Reagan Ranch. The man did that for me. called
I'm
me.
glad
And
you
I rode
enjoyed
along
that.
with a van load of young Republicans, Reagan Ranch Center in Lower State.
Right, right.
Took me right up to that legendary.
Yeah, people don't know
pond.
that you can still go to the Reagan Ranch and see how the Reagans lived during his presidency.
You don't have to know somebody. You don't have to be Republican.
No, you don't have to be Republican. No, you can just go there and try and.
It was a little
See if you can
Hobbitville.
get
It's like I landed in Oz. I just couldn't believe it. I'd seen it so many times, all those years.
I know, very unassuming, isn't it? It
Oh,
is.
Your phone's ringing.
Phone's ringing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a sec. Hello? It's the mayor.
Oh, Helene Schneider?
Is that who it is? Helene? No, you can't be a guest on the show this week. I already have the Baron.
Oh,
Yeah. No. We're worried about our ratings. We can't have you on. Maybe if someone doesn't show, I might call you, but no. I'm sorry, but no.
she's going to be devastated.
You're just not. You just can't get on.
Oh, well.
No way. This is our first show.
Yep. Hi,
And
Helene.
Baron says hello, but maybe another time.
Yeah.
Okay. We just never usually interview the mayor. We want people to be watching our show, not turning it off. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
FCC's fairness doctrine would have to have her two that are running against her. She's involved in a race now, so we couldn't have her
Oh,
on
is she?
anyway. Yeah.
What is she running for this time?
Mayor.
Again?
Yeah.
How many times can you run?
Twice. This will be
Okay.
her second run. In November we get to vote. So sorry, but maybe in the future.
Another time. Maybe another time. Maybe we're. But now, let's talk a little about the Santa Barbara radio. You've lasted, and you've had to kind of go with the flow. You're not spinning music anymore.
No.
And how long has it been since you've been not doing the tunes?
God, it's about 10 years, 10, 12 years, since Bob Newhart was my last shot. He owned the one station that he wanted to keep alive, that music of his era, the early 50s, And I came in, brought everything else, including some rock and roll. But then it vanished. News Press took over about 10 years ago and became the news station in town, figuring people are listening to their music these days on internets, iPods, Pandoras. They don't have the local news on those things. And they're going to want to get up and find out why that siren went across town or what that smoke was they saw yesterday. And I discovered Kenny. Can I call you that?
Sure.
This is Ken
Although it
Boxer.
says
He's
Ken.
Kenny to me, and I'm Ronnie to him. That I don't care whether it's me pre-announcing and back-announcing a Monkees song or a CNN newscast. It's my pre-announcing I enjoy doing, so I'm having fun. It's all about me.
But what do you miss about? Because I certainly miss you doing your radio with music. I miss those 60s. You were just so good at that.
You know what I miss?
What?
I miss the cheerleaders from Santa Barbara High driving up State Street on an early Friday morning on the day of a big game, cheering and yelling. We'd have our window open, we'd put the microphone over there, and they'd be yelling up to us. And do you know, when we finally moved out of there and over to that little dinky shop in the Loretto building or whatever on Chapala, I'm right on the ground floor. And one day I looked up, and there they were right outside my window, screaming bloody murder right through the window, and it wasn't the same. And one of them said, my grandmother did this, and my mother has been screaming on KISD all these years on the day of the big game, the cheerleaders. That's true, young man.
We miss you doing that, but what I'm very thankful for is you're being able to be our guest this show for the first time, and I hope the show goes on for a long time.
Well, I do too.
And you're going to come back?
I will when you need me. I'll give it a few times. You're going to need to bring in the mayor or whoever else. Of course, it's an election time. You can't have her or any of those 13 candidates. But there's movie stars here. The late Jonathan Winters came on a show on the old
Tell me, what do you think of our set?
I love this set.
It's
look at this old
George
microphone.
Montalvo. Wait, this is not real.
I know that.
Nice
That's why I turned it around. I know it's not real, but neither is the telephone.
Oh wait, no.
It's a real telephone.
It's a real telephone.
The old candlestick. That's a great prop, and that little drunk around the edge of that light. Street lamp. This is great stuff.
We're hoping that we're going to be on for quite a while.
Are you going to have some B-movie actresses on? They'll come up here and do your show. Sure they will.
Now, you see, we've just now changed it. Now you're interviewing me.
Oh, that's
not
true,
the way it is. But I'm going to tell you, though, we will have, this show will be focused on people from all walks of the entertainment industry. And
Right.
that being said, you know, you're in that genre.
Genre?
But, you know, we also have, you know, actors, actresses, people that make news, that may not be, someone who writes a book,
Sure.
somebody who's in the news on any given day.
Right.
If we can get them. And, you know, Santa Barbara's a good draw.
Yeah.
Because we can get people up from Los Angeles to come here.
And when you had those X-rated actresses on, it wasn't a prurient thing. You wanted to find out their background. You didn't show films from their movies, did you?
You know, it's funny. For so many years, I was on the air for 18 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And it's only those shows that we've done with the X-rated, you know, porn stars.
Let's call them what they
that
are. They're porn
people
stars.
remember. They don't remember shows that I did. Well, they do remember shows I did with you.
Have you ever heard of Ugly George?
Yes, I remember him.
On the streets of New York, Manhattan Cable TV, he had a show where he'd just walk up to strange ladies and ask them to disrobe. And most of them would slap him or walk away, but occasionally one would do it. And he'd play his stuff on late night TV. He beat Carson.
Really?
He was #1 at night. They had to watch Ugly George in his hour of family violence and whatever he called it show.
Well, I hope
Google
this
it.
show will beat all the ratings at our time slot. This originally airs now at 10 o'clock
On
Thursday
Thursday.
nights, and then we have some
Sure.
subsequent reruns.
All right.
So I'm
And if you like Italian food, it's not an Italian word, but it is an Italian restaurant. A word that doesn't exist. You made it up. Palazzo.
You're very kind.
Well, you're probably not supposed to plug your thing to do that. Maybe you can. I don't know. But I thought I'd plug it, so I'm the guest. I go there all the time. Got 3 little tables out front. Some of the nicest people in town.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, I know we got to get going in just a few minutes.
Another question occurred to him. Okay.
Yeah, the question I wanted to find out is, what is next for you? I mean, you ever think of retiring? Or is it something that, you know, radio, you know, you're
No, I can't retire, but I don't know what I would do if I'm so lucky to have this gig. They leave me alone. They revere me as you do, and it just drives me nuts that I'm getting this kindness. And I'm the morning anchor, and I represent the news press. Of course, I've been reading their stuff for years anyway, but I'm hoping this will hang in there. And just the fact that I'm always there, even on holidays. I'm there on a holiday whenever the other people in town take off and bring in their help and their weekenders.
Well,
Baron's always there. Well, let's put him on. And sure enough, he's having fun
Baron,
with his people.
we
including you.
wish you the best.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Hope
And
to
good
see
luck.
you.
Good luck to you.
Hope to see you on Table Talk
All
on
right.
Thursday morning.
We'll come.
Ken
we'll come
Boxer live, everybody.
there. What a voice he has. What a great voice. So, I have to tell you, I am delighted to be here hosting this first show. Thank you so very much for joining us. We'll see you again on Ken Boxer Live. Good night, everybody.